What's going on, y'all? Today I'm going to be giving you a quick tour of my home studio, showing you some of the physical gear that I use as well as some of the software that I use here at LB Productions. So check it out. All right, y'all. So I'm just going to kind of do this thing from left to right. As you can see, we have the famous machine controller, the MK2. This is not as big as the studio version and not as small as the micro version, but for me it was just right. I can still travel with it if I need to, if I'm going out of town. And for me, it's been really helpful when I'm trying to get ideas down really quick and just trying to get a vibe going, and then I can port it over into some other software and kind of do more, because I'm not like a sample-based producer, which is really good for sample-based producers. I mean, you can use it if you're not a sample-based producer as well, but that's kind of the main, I would say, audience that it's been for the machine. So I love it. Definitely was one of the best things that I purchased for my studio. Contemplating selling it, haven't sold it, still got it, love it, going to keep using it. That's my main, not my main, but I would say my secondary controller. Over here, we have the Akai MPK49. Now this thing has been out for a long time, man. I've probably had this keyboard, I've had this keyboard at least 8 years, man. And it still works perfectly, minus my my play button doesn't work, but hey, that's what the space bar is for, so I'm all good there. But I love this keyboard. I mean, it has a good feel. It has it definitely has spring-loaded keys, so you kind of get a real piano feel as much as you can without it being actually a wooden piano. You have all your fader knobs, which you can assign to do whatever you need to do, like any other MIDI controller. I can assign these to volume. I can assign these to effects. I can assign these to pretty much any knob that I want to inside of whatever software I'm using that takes MIDI input. Turn it on right quick. This is kind of my audio interfaces. I have the audio box USB, the PreSonus. I think this is a 2x2. I think it is. It's a 2 input one. I've had that one for a few years as well. It's done me pretty well. I haven't had any issues with it at all. And I love it. I also have the Tube Pre V2, which was my first preamp for my microphone. And that did pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the greatest in the world, but when I was on that budget, it did me pretty well, and I still use it sometimes today. Probably gonna be looking to sell it pretty soon, to be honest. But if you're just starting out, it's definitely something you want to try out. If you're on a budget, it'll get the job done until you can get your money right and upgrade a little bit. Next, we have what I recently got, which is the Art Pro MPA2 microphone preamp, and this is a dynamic. I don't know what you call it, but like it can be a tube preamp, or you can do it without the tube, just depending on how you have your settings configured on it. I love it. I mean, it definitely gave my voice a lot of warmth. I did install a non-factory tube in here, which you can find out how to do that all on YouTube. Maybe I'll show you one day. But I upgraded the tube on channel 1, and I kept the tube as factory in channel 2 just so I can have a comparison point. But this is the Art Pro MPA2, and it really gives my voice a lot of warmth. And I can really like scream and yell into the microphone, and it really does a good job of giving it kind of some of that analog distortion that's pretty good, not the digital distortion that sounds really bad. But I like it a lot. I think people have already noticed a difference in my vocals when I'm sending them to my mixing engineers. They say, hey man, these are A1 recordings. What are you using? Pro MPA2 2-channel 2 microphone amp. Word. All right, so that's what that is. Now, you guys are gonna see this Mac here, but guess what? I don't use the Mac to produce. That's for my job. Holla back. I use Machine on when I travel sometimes, but I don't really use it primarily. I really only use it for business. For speakers, I have the Yamaha HS8s, baby. I love these things, man. They have a really good frequency response. It's pretty flat. I came from KRK Rockets. I believe I had RP6s. I believe there were 6-inch generation 2s. I upgraded to these. I mean, they're kind of pricey. I went ahead and got the the 8 inches because I do a lot of trap. I do some starting to get into kind of EDM and that type of thing. So I really need to be able to feel and hear my bass because I don't have a separate subwoofer. So I felt like I had to get an 8 inch at least to really start being able to feel the bass in my tracks and really kind of give me the true reference that I need. So I don't have to do a lot of comparison to, you know, in the car with other speakers and, you know, Bluetooth speakers, etc. These really kind of give me a true sound so I can trust what I'm hearing coming out of these monitors in my studio. Word. For actual computer, I have a custom built computer. The machine is just a sticker that I got, but it's a custom built computer, and it has about, I think it got 16 gigs of RAM in it. It's got an i5 in it, and that's really about it. I don't have anything crazy. I got like a basic ASRock motherboard, and I can link all the stuff that I have specifically below if you guys want. So now let's kind of get into the software that I use. Now for my actual input, my audio input, I am using a SE Electronics 2200A cardioid microphone, and it's a pretty low budget microphone compared to some of the others that you can get, but it's done me really well, and you know, I encourage you guys to check it out. I don't think they actually sell the C version anymore. I think they discontinued that one. Hey, but it hasn't stopped my shine. It still does a pretty good job for me. So I was just checking out. I got some little pop filter off Amazon. This one's Aokio. Nothing special about it. It's just a mesh pop filter. I did have a wire pop filter, but it was really making my S's come through and make me sound like I have a lisp. I might have a thick tongue, but I ain't got no lisp, like, you know what I'm saying? And it sounded crazy on records. And I am using the SE Electronics, kind of dark on that side, but this is a SE Electronics reflection filter as well that I'm using. I've had it for a few years, man, and it definitely does the job. And you know, my room's not treated. My studio's not treated, as you can see. I don't have any treatment on the wall. In fact, I have it pretty bad. You know, I have a TV, I have flat glassy things that sound bounces off of right next to my ear, so really that's pretty bad. I know that it is. I'm working on getting it updated, but it does a trick for now, and this reflection filter kind of keeps my vocals from bouncing back into the microphone too much. It kind of blocks out the hum of my PC right down here when I'm recording, because I'm usually recording sitting right here next to my PC. So yeah, and it's got a shock mount that came with the microphone. And so did all the attachments that came with the microphone. It came with either the microphone or with the reflection filter, but I love them both. I've had these two for like maybe 2 or 3 years, and haven't really upgraded anything yet. If I upgrade anything, it'll probably be that microphone. So let's get into the software. All right, so for my software, it's really not a whole lot to what I do with my software. The main two things I use are FL Studio, as you can see. I use FL Studio for arranging and doing the heart of the production of my track. I do some of the beginning mixing stages. I do in here a little bit of EQing and compression, and limiting and that type of thing. And of course, any of my automated effects in my track, I'm going to do here. One thing that I really like to do in FL Studio is use my machine as a VST. The same reason I like the machine by itself was the same reason I like it as a VST inside of Fruity Loops, and that's because I can really get some good ideas down packed really quickly and just banging them out on my drum machine, and it's really easy. All the knobs, I can do whatever I want without ever having to touch my mouse inside the machine. Takes some practice, but I like it. Once I'm done with my tracks in FL Studio and I'm getting ready to record myself or an artist, I use Studio One. Now, Studio One has gained a lot of notoriety over the last couple of years. I've been using it since Studio One version 1. We are now at Studio One 3, I believe is the latest one, and that's what I'm running here today. I absolutely love Studio One. I never really got into using Pro Tools, but to be honest, I think I probably could use it now. When I first got into the music, this side of the music, I wasn't very familiar with DAWs in general.
outside of FL Studio, but now that I've gotten familiar with Studio One and kind of how the tracks working, buses work, and how you load plugins and load effects and compression and EQ and all those type of things, I think I probably could pick up Pro Tools pretty easily. But if it ain't broken, don't fix it. All right, so Studio One works for me and I love it, and that's basically it. What I use for software as far as music creation. I do use, I got Photoshop, I got Premiere, I have After Effects, I have Adobe Audition, so I have the whole Adobe suite as well. But I don't really use it that much outside of maybe doing some YouTube like covers or something like that.
I almost forgot, no studio is complete without entertainment, man. So I got the Xbox One S. I don't want to pay for the X yet. Costs too much money. They tripping. I'd rather put it on music. I got the Elite controller, and I got an LG, what is it, like a 55-inch 4K. But Fortnite was on right now, cause you can get the smoke if you want it. All right, y'all, that's it. That was a quick tour of my home studio. I hope y'all got something out of it. Please drop any questions or comments you have below. And until next time, y'all, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Peace out.